Hi everyone, this is John Riccatelli here from Johnny Gunn's Film Buff YouTube channel. This is something a little bit different that I'm doing. I'm actually with a friend of mine, Professor William Burns.
Hello everyone.
We're doing a video on Black Christmas because this year marks the 50th anniversary of the original Black Christmas from 1974, directed by Bob Clark. Bill, what do you think of the original Black Christmas movie?
Well, I think it's a classic. I think it really set a lot of the tropes and the tones for films that came after Halloween, Friday the 13th. So a lot of, they call it the slasher. I hate using that term, but
right.
Like the sort of slasher genre really came out of what Bob Clark did with this film.
Right. Well, a few years ago, I met Olivia Hussey. We both agreed how, even though, Black Christmas has become a cult classic, but when it first came out, it wasn't a hit. It was overshadowed by Halloween. I think because Halloween basically made the slasher genre popular at that time.
Well, I also think, Halloween didn't come out until 77.
Yes, no, 78.
78,
actually.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But I think people weren't prepared yet for Black Christmas,
No.
So maybe after seeing Black Christmas, assimilating that into the horror, what they expect from horror movies.
Right.
When Halloween came out, then Halloween could be accepted. You know what I mean? But because, one of the absolute things I love about Black Christmas, right, is that you don't get a specific or you get a definitive answer to who the killer is or why the killer is doing this.
Right.
You get little hints and things, And I think people were used to mystery films always giving an answer, right? Always having a solution, and this movie wouldn't do it, which I think makes it even more creepier.
Right, I totally agree on that because we know about the character's background story. That's what makes it scary. You're only seeing his point of view when he's about to when he's stalking, then he kills his victims. Like that opening scene, you're seeing his point of view, stalking the sorority house, then getting phone. Well, especially the phone call. That's definitely been before in horror movies in the past, that Black Sabbath horror film where the woman answers the phone.
Yep.
And he's making a bunch of insult and saying about curse word slurs. The ladies of the house being a sexist and sexual predator. And also, I think the movie has great performances too. Olivia Hussey does a great job, and Margot Kidder, even though she's got a potty mouth, but she does a great. You got to admit, she does a good job in this movie.
No, absolutely. Keir Dullea is great too.
He is.
He's really good. The performances I think are great because it makes it believable. You know what I mean? Because they're such good actors.
They are,
and they take it seriously too.
Absolutely. When I first saw it, I didn't even recognize that was Keir Dullea from 2001: A Space Odyssey because he's got a big set of bushy hair. And there's also themes about a feminism, how Olivia Hussey's character is pregnant, and it's not that she doesn't want the child; she doesn't maybe feel like she's not ready for it, even though there's no answer. But the way I got the hint about it, was it possible maybe does she have an estranged relationship with her family? Maybe she's just afraid of repeating maybe what her mother did to her, maybe possibly. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and I guess that there's two things you could see with that. I mean, one thing is, I'm guessing it's a common problem for young women.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That
Olivia Hussey's character wants to abort the baby. 2 years ago, June 2022, Roe versus Wade was overturned not that long ago.
And the movie does focus on a lot of young women.
Yeah.
So you have this idea that, these, in some ways they're sort of happy-go-lucky young women, but also at the same time, they're probably dealing with a lot of the same problems.
Right.
And then, of course, you have the connection between, the idea of should she have the child, should she not have the child, and what the consequences are of having the child. And then you have the killer, who seems to be stuck in this kind of adolescence Billy voice, So this idea about children, right? Because obviously, something happened to this killer in his childhood that makes him stuck there, And then you have Olivia Hussey. Is she going to have this child? Will she be able to take care of this child? Will the child end up screwed up in some ways? You know, so there's a lot of those issues going on, which again are really quite mature issues for a typical a stalk and slash horror movie.
Right. Well, those are real issues that everyone a lot of women face in everyday life of not sure they're ready to have children yet, and also
and the pressures from her boyfriend.
Yes,
right?
Because he feels if they abort the child, he feels guilty for killing a soul, that a wasted soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think his character. He was kind of a jerk, but he wasn't a bad person. He just didn't feel right if they were going to abort the child or not.
Well, again, I think one of the things that's great about the script is that there aren't stereotypical people in it.
No,
they seem very real. They seem all the characters in the film seem very real.
Unlike modern day horror movies, where just nothing feels real anymore these days. These are real characters that feel so believable.
And I always wondered if that was something that Deborah Hill and John Carpenter picked up on for Halloween.
Yes.
You know what I mean? In terms of the believable characters that they had in that film.
I remember once watching, I think it was, I don't know if it was an interview or Bob Clark was some event or something, a con or something, doing a Q&A. Someone was asking about, between Halloween and Black Christmas, and he said that when Carpenter called up Bob Clark said when Carpenter called me up, he said that I'm making a slasher film and I'm taking inspiration from Black Christmas. And Bob Clark said, thank you, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
He was
really
very
cool.
pleased, very happy to hear that someone was appreciate his work and like happy that someone's taking inspiration, but of course making his own version. Of course, he didn't remake Black Christmas, but still, just took the similar concept, but just made up his own version.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. You know, and one of the things I think really needs a lot of praise in the movie is Bob Clark's direction.
Yes,
the direction in the movie is incredible.
Yeah.
You know, it's so creepy, and even the lighting, it has like even though it takes place on Christmas, you have that kind of like soft lighting and fuzzy.
That's what I really love about this movie. It's not like a happy jolly Christmas movie. Like I remember once Bob Clark in an interview said that was the idea of this film. Take the happiest time of year of Christmas, despite we all think it's a happy, jolly time, but it shows bad things can happen during Christmas too.
Sure, absolutely.
He said that despite the suicide rates are high during the holidays. Not to get too controversial.
No, you're right. Yeah, because people get depressed because if they don't
loneliness,
have people around,
money for because all the money they spend at the holidays.
Sure.
And,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I really love about this film.
But the look of the film is just it has so much atmosphere.
Yeah,
you know, like outside the coldness, the snow.
Yeah,
but also you have like the Christmas lights like reflecting off the snow. It has like this kind of hazy, kind of like almost like neon kind of.
Right.
It's a really interesting atmosphere, and it's a really sort of a weird atmosphere to a holiday movie.
Do you watch this at Christmas time sometimes?
You know, I don't think I do.
A rare occasion depends on my maybe once in a while I'm tired of watching Jolly Christmas. I'm like, oh, the hell with it. Let's watch alternative Christmas movies.
Absolutely.
Me occasionally, not every year, occasionally. Right. I'll watch this like maybe if I'm in the mood, just for the sake of it.
I noticed like a lot of times they'll replay it around Halloween, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And so that's a lot of times when I'll see it. But I love the movie. I think it's brilliant.
This is going to surprise you when I say this. Apparently, legend has it, Elvis Presley loved this movie. And every year around Christmas time, the Presley family watched this movie in honor and dedication to him.
Even though I love Halloween, special place in my heart, but at the same time, I'm like neutral. I love both movies on different levels. Halloween my favorite because that's what made me the horror fan that I am today. I like Black Christmas because I have a lot of respect for it, of like showing how Bob Clark made a great Christmas like slasher. It's not like cheesy or corny. It's really like so amazing.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. Just it's a film I go back to once in a while. I'm in the mood for the sake of it. I just love, like I said, the atmosphere, the performances. It's got great dialogue. It's very
and the script is also
good. The
script is good.
I remember my dad, like when he first heard about this movie, he thought like this sounds like a stupid. Like at first he thought it sounded stupid because of the title, thinking that sounds like a cheesy slasher horror Christmas movie. We watched it together, and he was like, "Oh my god, this is better than I expect." Especially, he loved the ending. He was like, "This is a great ending."
Yeah, absolutely.
But the funny part is, when I first saw it, I didn't like the ending. But now, after more rewatch, I'm like, now I love it. Now it's
absolutely.
You like when you rewatch something, you appreciate it more and more and more viewing sometimes.
Absolutely. I always thought like the thing that always got me about the movie was the image of the woman, of the young woman with the bag. That was always like so creepy. And then how she was just in the rocking chair in the attic.
She's never found. That's what makes it so great.
Right.
It's
so
like,
scary.
It's like something you read about, like Unsolved Mysteries, when a missing person was never found. Sometimes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that really got me when I saw the film.
I think to me it was the showdown between Olivia Hussey and the killer. That's what really like, because she's like hello, like she's screaming like hello, trying to hear, but there's no sound, and she's risking her life, not just her life, the baby inside of her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it, I thought Keir Dullea was the killer, But now when I think back, I'm like, oh my god, Bob Clark tricked me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
but I guess that was the point and twist, that the killer is still on the loose and he's still out there.
Right, absolutely. And what's more scary than that?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, we just I think because at that time Bob Clark was unsure about like the ending at the time, because I don't know whether he didn't have the budget for the ending or for what I read, he was unsure about how to end it like there. Then he thought end it like this, but then the studio's like, no, don't end it like this. But he had no choice.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad because it actually worked out.
I think it did. No, I think it works out perfectly. It's a great like Twilight Zone cliffhanger ending.
Yes, very much so.
This part I forgot to mention right here. It's kind of funny and bitchy at the same time. When Margot Kidder's character is filling out a police report, she gives the police officer the address saying fellatio, and the police officer doesn't understand that fellatio means oral sex. I mean, it's funny, and it's also, like, bitchy at the same time for her saying that. When I also first saw this movie, I forgot to mention that Andrea Martin was in this film, because I'm thinking to myself, this is Andrea Martin, the comedy from SCTV and My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but she does do a good job in this film. Another comedic person going from comedy to serious. When I was watching this movie with my father, the part when she's crying, me and my dad were making a funny spoof of reference to SCTV's Neil Simon Nutcracker Christmas special when she plays a parody of Neil Simon's wife. You have to give me more time. She was also in the 2006 remake, which we're going to talk about soon briefly.
And I guess since we're on this topic, well, despite that this is like its own Black Christmas review, let's talk briefly about the shitty remakes. Did you see them?
I saw the first remake and I did not see the second remake.
You didn't miss it.
Yeah, that first remake was terrible.
Oh yeah, you know, I don't understand, why does the 06 remake have a cult fight? I don't get it.
I don't know either.
People, like, anytime I go on social media, people are like, "Oh, I love this movie." I'm like, "What?" Like,
maybe they didn't see the first one. Maybe I don't know.
I'll admit. Well, two years ago in 2022, I did recording for Christian on his YouTube channel about all Black Christmas videos, and I mentioned how at the time when the 06 remake came out, I did not know that was a remake. I thought that was an original because this was back around the time when the internet was not what it is now. Because at that time I didn't like Google stuff with movies like I did constantly, and sure. I didn't know that was a remake. Thank God I saw the original first before I saw the 06 turd remake.
Yeah.
I hate it. And also the background of the killer is explained, but it's
it ruins the whole point of it.
That's what ruins. And not only that, the story of the character Billy, part of my French here, is fucked up because basically he was born with like some kind of like jaundice, rare skin condition. The mother was, it's like they were going for a poor man's version of Psycho.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
And the mother was like trying to like have another baby, but instead she rapes Billy, and it's like, oh my God.
It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. It's like, use Viagra next time. That's like every other normal human being that fucking your son.
Yeah. It was, no, absolutely.
Yeah. And the characters were very bland, forgetful. They were not believable. And I saw the 2019 remake once. Go to my friend Christian's YouTube channel to get my thoughts about it. I also made a vow that if there was ever like if my friends did a video about that, that's the only time I'm doing a review about it. I'm not going into details. All I'm going to say is that it was a shitty, I mean, okay, I get the point. The Me Too movement, that college rape is a real thing, but you could have done it better. Mm-hmm. One would think, but the problem is we're living in a culture of cancel culture these days. That's the problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you want to know my thoughts about the 2019 remake, go to my friend Christian's YouTube channel. I'm not going to go into detail. This is its own 1974 Black Christmas own essay review. That's it. No, that was a brief thoughts of the remake. No videos on the remakes. Yeah, that was my brief thoughts. So I guess that's everything we covered over the Black Christmas original.
Yeah, everybody go watch it. Go out and watch it. It's an amazing
Absolutely.
film.
Don't dismiss the original. It's still the best. If you're going to watch Black Christmas, watch the original one. That's the one to go to.
I agree.
Yes. All right. Signing off and see you next time.
Bye-bye, everyone.